Hey everybody, welcome back. This week I'm going to be talking about living without fear and just sharing some thoughts that I've learned along the way on how to do just that. Because in infidelity recovery, learning how to handle fear is one of the big tasks. For the betrayed spouse, being deceived or hurt again can be crippling. And for the wayward spouse, the fear of causing more pain is paralyzing. But they also fear sabotaging their own recovery. Both parties fear the long journey and the amount of work ahead. The pain of betrayal is heart-wrenching, and being afraid of re-experiencing the pain is certainly understandable. But living in fear is no way to live. I want to start today by sharing a story of when Rick and his wife Stephanie and John and Leslie and I all went to Toronto to go to a workshop. We went up a day early to see Toronto and eat some good food and just look around the city. And we went to the CN Tower. For many years, CN Tower was the tallest structure in the world. And so we go up there and we look around, and you can walk around and look at the city. It was a beautiful sight. But then we discovered that part of the floor is a glass floor. And so we went over to check it out, and Stephanie led the way, and she just walked right on it. We're 1,000 plus feet up in the air, 1,800 feet, something like that. And she's just walking around on this glass floor like it's no big deal. And I try to take one step and I freeze. I can't do it. Just the thought of looking down there and seeing, what seemed like 10,000 feet below me at the time, was just almost paralyzing. I don't know where Rick and John went off to, but Leslie and I were both standing there thinking, we can't do this. We couldn't do it. Finally, I was able to lay down, roll over onto my back, and scooch out there and pull my camera up and take a picture. The fear was just overcoming, and it didn't even make any sense. It wasn't rational. And I think that recovery from infidelity is not totally that different or unlike that experience. When we're traumatized, it's easy to slide into some kind of defensive operating system or defensive mechanisms, defensive behavior. In this state, we can feel as if we're going to free fall to our death or that the world is really out to get us. We expect things to go wrong and we fear the worst. And suddenly, day-to-day tasks such as cooking dinner, watching TV, checking social media, or even driving to work can seem terrifying in the aftermath of an affair. You've done these activities before, countless times, but now you're going to fear encountering painful triggers or reminders in the process of doing those things. So how do you come to a place where you can move forward and where you can live as you always have and tackle each day without fear? Often what robs us of our joy are the situations that we create in our own minds. We can spend so much time worrying about situations that might not even ever occur. You have survived difficult and devastating setbacks before, and you can do it again. You have survived, and you will be okay. You aren't right now, but you will be, regardless of what happens to your marriage or to the relationship. And instead of spending time contemplating the what-ifs that produce fear, I encourage you to think about the remember wins, focusing on something solid, the times where you got through situations that seemed impossible. It can at least tone down fear and embrace your inner strength. Alternately, fixating on everything that could go wrong allows fears to overtake you. It also reminds me of a story when I was account executive at Dell Computer Corporation back in the early 90s. And we were struggling. The whole computer industry was struggling. Things had happened over in Taiwan. There was a fire at the only memory plant. And so there was all kinds of shortages everywhere. And so the president of Dell USA pulled all of us together, and we had to go around the room, dozens of people, and shared these remember wins in the computer industry at Dell when we had faced certain situations and we had overcome. And it was just amazing how empowering that was to hear from other people and to remind yourselves about when we had faced adversity before and how we had overcome it. And that's just an example of how it can happen at a macro level. And what I'm talking about here for you today is how it can happen at a micro level for you individually or you as a relationship. When your mind is clouded by confusion and hurt, it can be challenging to recall the remember wins. I urge you to give yourself grace. You can get there. You can get there. No matter where you are at this very moment, you can move forward out of strength rather than fear. And you can arrive at a place that's full of hope and clarity. Even in the severest crisis, there is always hope. And by saying that, I'm not trying to minimize your pain. But after infidelity, it is really understandable to be afraid. And each spouse will likely have different fears. For the betrayed spouse, they fear that their loved one is still holding on to things and secrets. And for the wayward spouse, they may fear retaliation, or they fear that their partner will never get over it. Both spouses may also fear having to live in a pretend normal state for years to come, where they keep what's happening from their family and friends to avoid judgment. Whatever your fears may be, it's possible to overcome them. It may take an approach that's anything but second nature. It's like walking on a glass floor thousands of feet up in the air. But fear can be overcome. There is a way to make it happen. And the first step is identifying your fears. And the second step is getting help to move past them. At A Fair Recovery, we are committed to radical transformation. And we help couples and individuals heal from infidelity every day. Through our programs and courses, we walk with individuals as they find clarity and truth and strength after an affair. Over the years, we have helped thousands of participants manage their fears and begin to transform their lives. Whether it's harboring hope for betrayed spouses, or hope for healing for the wayward spouse, or EMS online for couples, individuals gain invaluable resources to heal and lots of small group support. If you're having a difficult time moving forward and conquering your fear, I encourage you to check those courses out and register for the one or ones that seem most helpful, that can help you restore your marriage. I think the best place to start for most couples in the grip of fear is A Fair Recovery Emergency Marital Seminar online. Both of you will find the support, the structure, and the grace that you both need as you address the betrayal, you reconnect as partners, and you restore your lives and your relationship. It may not seem like it right now, but you are brave enough and strong enough to keep going. And we're here to support you. Even if you don't believe me, try to remember the moments in the past where things haven't worked out for you in the way you thought they would, but they did work out. Probably not as you expected, but you survived and probably even thrived. These are proof that you've made it through and can certainly make it through again. I just want to say that I always enjoy hearing from you all. So I encourage you to leave comments below about how the Remember Wins strategy has worked for you currently and possibly in the past. And other readers may find it encouraging as well. Thanks so much for joining me again this week. It is always good to be with you. Know that we are pulling for both of you and for your relationship. And we at A Fair Recovery want to support you any way we can. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back again next week.